true productivity is about doing more of what is in your desire zone and less of absolutely everything else. Right? True productivity is about doing more of what is in your desire zone and less of everything else. Here I want to share with you a process for self-reflecting. All right? Now this is something that isn't commonly taught in school. A lot of people know how to voice opinions about things, but not all people know how to consciously and mindfully reflect. Reflecting is very different from thinking. All right, so management leadership is essentially about us making decisions, isn't it? All right, you don't get to manage, you don't get to lead without making decisions. Parenting is about making decisions. It's about making decisions that are ultimately going to impact other people. So we've got to get good at counting the cost, because every decision that we make stands to gain us something, or gain other people something, or cost us something, or cost other people something. So we get wise, we become influential when we get good at counting the cost of our actions and our attitudes and our behaviours. All right, which can be anything. Right? It might be the case that you are considering making a decision today or tomorrow or perhaps next week at some point. So this isn't about focusing right in on the specific decision that you make. It's more of a consideration, contemplation, self-reflection process that we can go through to make wise and well-informed decisions. Make sense? So, when you are considering making a big, complex decision, we start here, right? How specifically will I positively or negatively affect me here? This decision that I make, how is this specifically going to positively or negatively affect me? Because we can sometimes be guilty of making completely mindless decisions, make sporadic emotionally led decisions, and that is not mindfulness, all right? There's an old saying that when the emotion is in, the wit tends to be out. All right, I'm sure that you've experienced this in some level. Highly emotional people aren't always those who make well-informed and well-considered decisions. So this is just a basis for making those well-informed and well-considered decisions. First things first, we've got to consider how our actions or behaviours are going to impact us. But then there's a second level to this, because this is where many people get stuck, all right? People make decisions that are fundamentally good for them. And it's okay, isn't it? You know, we can make decisions in life that are good for us, and good for other people, or we can make decisions in life that are good for us, not good for other people. Some people go through life, managers, leaders, kind of like as martyrs, making decisions that are good for other people, but not good for them. And then there's those special individuals throughout society who make absolutely, thoughtless, careless decisions that aren't good for them or good for other people. So this is about us making the wisest decisions that we can, because ultimately the sweet spot for us as leaders or managers or influencers are making those decisions that are going to be good for us and good for other people, kind of creating that win-win environment that involves some self-reflection. We've got to be aware of what it is we stand to gain and what it is we stand to lose. So once we've considered how this decision is going to impact or affect us, we then got to consider how specifically our decision is going to positively or negatively affect the other person who we're leading or the people that we're leading. We then want to also, on a next level, consider how specifically our actions or behaviours or decisions are going to affect those people closest to them. Do you see where we're going here? Right? We can take our reflection as deep as we want to. Right? It's not that many people do this. It's not that many people need to do this. But if we want to be mindfully aware of decision making, and we ultimately want to win the respect of other people whom we're managing or leading, then we've got to take into consideration the consequences of our actions and how our actions might impact other people and other people's families. All right? The effectiveness of your leadership is ultimately going to be determined by the degree of impact that you make in other people's lives. If people love being around you and trust you, it's because your leadership benefits them. If people can't stand being around you, if people literally avoid you at all costs, and there are people who stand in positions of management and leadership who no one likes to be around, all right? It depends what we want. I'm proposing that The sweet spot is when we create these win-win environments, right? But this requires a degree of self-awareness and self-reflection, all right? So how will my action or attitude affect anyone or everyone else? My family, those people above me, perhaps society at large, right? This is about counting the cost. Count the cost of our decisions. If we make a reckless financial decision, perhaps invest too much money into a marketing budget or into grocery shopping this week or into whatever, well, it's a basic economic principle, opportunity cost. We can't have it all. We have limited resources all of the time. If we're investing our resources, be this our time, our energy, our effort, our money into one area, then that means another area can't have it. All right, so this is just about us becoming aware of this one principle, how our decisions impact a far greater picture, not just us. The last degree of self-reflection is then how specifically will this action or attitude affect those people closest to me. So we kind of go in a full loop here, if you like, right? To see the cycle that we're going, we're kind of going in here. We start with us. How's my action or attitude going to affect me? Then how's it going to affect this other person who I'm interacting with? How's it going to affect this other person's family or those closest to him or her? How's my attitude or action or behaviour going to impact a significantly greater picture? And then ultimately, how's this action or attitude going to affect those people closest to me? All right. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples here. I was mentoring a gentleman maybe 2 years ago. And very, very successful businessman. He was the kind of businessman that a lot of people like to be around. Very influential, had a lot of money, a lot of wisdom. He was the kind of person that people loved being around. People loved him, all right? Especially his young secretary. And he made a decision one night that was emotionally fueled. And it cost him not just his relationship with his wife and his kids, but it lost him credibility and the love and the respect of pretty much his entire organisation, who incidentally also loved his wife, right? So one reckless decision cost him his reputation, cost him his credibility and his family, all in one shot. Because sometimes we don't count the cost of our decisions. We become wise in life when we start reflecting to this degree and to this depth.